Hey Eurovision fans, Prince will represent Serbia in Eurovision 2025 with his song Mila. I'm going to listen and react to the revamp of the national final performance, give you my analysis of the song, the artist and the staging, and see if this could qualify Serbia into the Eurovision final. So let's keep you. My name is Tom, I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So as you may know, I covered Pesmazai Eurovision this year. I listened to all 30 songs. I have to admit, when they announced that they were having 30 songs this year, immediately in my head I was like, oh my god, this must be one of the best years ever because they're adding more songs. Ironically, this is the weakest Pesmazai Eurovision I've ever reacted to, so I have no idea why they're adding even more songs onto this already gigantic national final. 30 songs now, it's absolutely utterly crazy, way too much. I have heard some rumors that they're thinking of restructuring the national final for next year to simulate UMK a little bit. Those rumors are totally unsubstantiated, but I think that would be great. There is way too much filler in Pesmazai Eurovision. It totally dilutes the contest, very similar to Festival Kungas. Festival Kungas this year, I think, had one of the best national finals for songs, but because there was so much filler, it just made you feel worn out. I was disappointed this year. I didn't have any song in particular that I absolutely and utterly loved. I watched the final, but I was very uninvested in a particular person. So in the end, it was a bit of a surprise to see Prince win. He didn't win the televote, he didn't win the jury, but he was consistent enough amongst those two that he managed to win the contest anyway. So his song in 2023, Svetsa Istolka, one of my favorite songs of the whole national final season. If he'd won, it would have been in my top 10 of Eurovision. But in 2023, he won the televote and came 5th with the jury. So I feel like when he was coming back, he was probably thinking, I need to solve the jury problem right off the bat. So I feel like coming back with Mila, this was a real jury bait song. In that original video I did, 2PZ, you could just see that I was like super disappointed. That I felt like he was someone who could represent Serbia in the future, but the song was too weak. Now it's had a revamp, so maybe my opinion of it will change. But yeah, I remember being disappointed when I heard the original version. Let's find out a little bit about Prince. His real name is Stefan Zdravkovic. He's known professionally as Prince od Vranje, so the Prince of Vranje, which sounds a little bit, it sounds a little bit conceited. He's 31 years old. I think Vranje is in the south of Serbia, isn't it? It is. It's right down the south. So I think that he gets a lot of southern support from the televote. I think some Serbian fans told me that. Both years that he's competed. And he was previously the Serbian national champion and vice champion in karate. So he's got a martial arts background and he's been involved in rock music and rock bands in the past. He's had a little bit of controversy since he won. There's some videos emerging of him saying very controversial things. I'm not getting involved, girl. I'm so tired. I can't. But I know for sure people are going to leave comments. So check out the comments down below. But yeah, I think he got himself in a little bit of trouble and lost a lot of favor with a lot of people in the Eurovision community. Also an issue with an interaction with the runners-up Harem girls after the contest. So yeah, he seems like slightly an unpopular candidate. Not everyone dislikes him, but one of the most unpopular candidates that Serbia's had in a while. Remind me a little bit of how the Georgian artist has been received in Georgia as well. So at the end of the day though, the majority of people at Eurovision have absolutely no idea who he is. So he's kind of starting with a clean slate in that aspect. This has had a revamp done by Zeljko Joksimovic, who sang Lana Moje in 2004, which came second, which is my second favorite Eurovision song ever of all time. And also he competed in 2012 and he came third. If I was going to get my Balkan ballad revamped, I think I'd want it done by Zeljko Joksimovic or Darko Dimitrov, or ideally both of them at the same time. I will show as much of the original audio and visuals as I'm allowed to. If I need to make changes, I'll put it up on my Patreon. Look how fast I can say that now because I say it every freaking day. And subscribe to me on Instagram because I'm posting there more often. Okay, Prince singing Mila, Wanna Know My Secret Bang. Oh, I think, yes, it does look new. Very atmospheric smoke, a little bit old school, but I think they needed to lean into that. Oh, is his arms folded? That's a very weird, unusual pose. His voice is very nice. Very pretty. And he's got a bit of a Fabio feel from those romance novels. He's a little bit extra in how he performs. It's a bit Broadway. This new staging's cool though. These lights on the side, the smoke looks atmospheric. Okay. Chorus sounds most of the same. Maybe they'll add in more in the later courses. He is dramatic. Like he's gonna give it his all. He's like full like telenovela, which can work. People like that kind of drama. There's Mila. Chilling. This stage looks more deluxe. There's a concept here. They're going for old school romance. switching between the camera cuts to have her disappear. It's a concept. That had a little bit more instrumentation. Don't worry, I'll go for a silent second listen later. Oh, she doesn't want him. She's dancing around him, trying to avoid. It looks cool. Like, there's nothing groundbreaking here, but those lights look cool. And the background of this blue smoke. It's a bit canvas, but it's working. That feels new. This piano solo. I don't know, the song's quite sleepy. I don't know if that makes it less sleepy. Yeah, I feel maybe a tiny bit more production this time. It's mostly the same. Maybe some extra drums. I don't know if the costume's working for me. It's a little bit like he's just come from work. I want something a little bit more cultural or a little bit more detail. His voice is very strong though. Really, really nice voice. Yeah, I feel like that choir is new. I don't remember that from before. Okay, some vocal flourishes at the end. That's pretty nice. Some of those string instruments. Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you. It was hard for me to pick out any big differences there because I didn't listen to the original song. I just wasn't a fan. You can go watch my completely unadulterated first reaction when I had absolutely zero idea who was gonna win. I wasn't super wide. I don't know if that like was significantly more wow. I heard a couple extra things. Like I said, I'll go in for an extra second listen now, so without talking, so I can hear any nuances. But yeah, it sounded like maybe there was some extra production, maybe some extra instrumentations coming in, maybe new choir. I didn't hear anything that made me go, oh my God, I have to download this now. In the same way that when I heard the Spain revamp, I'm like, okay, I'm going to download this because it just sounds more entertaining. Is that the only point? No, it's also about, can it like add into this dramatic performance? Let me go for a silent second listen now so I can just kind of finish my thoughts on the song. Okay, just have my second listen there. Okay, there's definitely more instrumentation and stuff come up. Like I said though, it still just doesn't push me across the line into loving this a lot more. It does sound better, but it's just not like a wow big change. My biggest thing I wanted to change was the chorus, the Mila part. I just don't think the melody of that is particularly interesting, and it's super strict back. It's just him on his own. There's no like accompanying musicality behind. I feel like that would have been the bit to add in a flute, a Balkan flute, or some Balkan strings or something. Add in a new melody there to make the chorus pop a little bit more. For me, they added in extra stuff to the strongest parts, and then the weakest part they didn't add anything in. So strategically doesn't massively work for me as a revamp. It sounds dated, which might work for some people because it also sounds kind of like old school, nostalgic. If people want like those really like old school 90s noughties ballads, this can absolutely scratch that itch. Being dated might not necessarily be a weak aspect from it. And the good thick guitars that they have in the last chorus and those drums do sound super dated. They sound like they're from the 90s. But again, some people might like that. And if you're the only dated song in the semi-final, anyone who wants some nostalgia or older generations who want music that sounds like from when they were younger, this can work for them. Let's have a quick look at the lyrics and see what he's singing about. Obviously, he's singing about Mila, but is he annoyed at her? Is he happy? Does he want her to get off his lawn? May that be my last supper. Let the eye of Cerberus, which I believe is the three-headed dog, drive me into the night. Let you be awakened by the scent of memories and my music of your name. Mila, or dear, you paid the price of me loving you. You brought back a life from the edge. There are many reasons for you to love another, but I care so much to keep you. Okay, so it's just like a typical love song. Let you be kissed, who lies to you better, but let one have you. The one that risks it all. You paid the price of me loving you, and blah, 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 blah. And then it's just a repetition of the chorus until the end. Okay, so yeah, like nothing particularly crazy lyrics. I don't even feel like there's much to really pick up there in terms of visuals, other than Cerberus. But I think if you put Cerberus in the background, it's not massively going to work. It reminds me a little bit of Final Fantasy VIII, actually. Yeah, so it's just like a Balkan ballad, which can work. I think some people really like Balkan ballads. Melody-wise, it's not one of the stronger ones for me. I thought Croatia's song in 2020 was stronger. North Macedonia have had a couple of Balkan ballads as well. Zelko Joksimovic's, his ballads just had better melody. So it's got a niche, but I just don't think the melody is massively strong. Just checking his score in Eurovision World, and he's got 2.3 stars out of 5, and that's from 11,000 ratings. Okay, staging wise, what can they do? I feel like they've gone big romance novel here. Now, I prefer that staging of the national final. The national final, actually, there's some bits in the national final I liked. He started off on this moon, which I thought looked really, really super cool. And then he came down, did his thing for a little bit. The stage looked a little bit empty. And then we just had this random Cirque du Soleil woman flipping around on the curtain, which made no sense at all. It just felt like they kind of realized the staging was boring, and then they decided to hire someone from Cirque du Soleil as like a entertainment patch, like a plaster, to try and make it more fun. So I did like the moon part, which was kind of a little bit corny, reminding us of your man from Austria in 2019, Running on Air, Austria 2017. So I like that aspect, but then I didn't like the woman on the curtain. In that video, it seems that they've gone for like a bit more of a modern, cool feel, almost looking a little bit Swedish, Melfest production style. I don't know if it works. It loses a little bit of the heart for me. I feel like this thing of him coming out in a suit, the only thing he was missing was the undone bow tie to kind of feel like he just left a wedding or something, or he'd run away from a wedding. I don't know if that styling worked. It wasn't particularly interesting. I feel like when he did Svet sa Istoka, that was really cool because we had costumes and color, and I felt like there was culture and entertainment happening on stage. Whereas this, yeah, it felt like a romance novel cover. Fabio, with his shirt almost half open, cradling this woman in a big flowy white dress. So it just felt a little bit too much. And maybe that's what they want to go for. Maybe they're going for the wine mum vote, or whoever reads those romance novels with Fabio on the cover. But yeah, I don't know if that staging was working, and some of the LEDs of the blue smoke are like, I use those LED. I use those graphics sometimes for my video from Canvas. And like, you don't want to be emulating me in terms of visuals. They got more money, they got more professional people, they should be aiming a little bit higher. The lights on the side, I think, look cool. He's very over the top in his performance style. He's really like, he commits to everything. It's like 100%, like, it's very like a Shakespearean tragedy in a way, which can be entertaining, but then don't put him in like a kind of bland, kind of metrosexual style of staging. I don't know. It was fine, but it wasn't massively popping or elevating the whole thing for me. It looked a little bit more interesting. I wasn't like fully entertained. I definitely think they can improve on this a lot. They need to find like a special niche and just like hone in on it. Who is the demographic who's actually going to pick up their phone for him that isn't going to pick it up for other people? I think they need to do a little bit of like, what are those things called? Focus groups, where they literally like find out, okay, these people are not interested in us. The only people who are interested in us are this age group of this gender. Let's just go all in on what they like. Be a little bit strategic. Okay, so with that in mind, do I think that this can qualify? So Serbia are going to be competing in the second half of the second semi-final. Okay, since filming this video, the running order has been released and Serbia will perform second last just before Erika Vikman. This is an absolutely wonderful stroke of luck for Serbia. In fairness to Serbia, they have had the worst luck when it comes to being in the first half of a semi-final. They have been there the most out of any country in Eurovision, 80% of the time. That is unbelievable. So I think the producers are acknowledging that, and now that Serbia have finally drawn the second half, they're giving them a really, really good slot. Super late in the running order, viewership will be really, really high. On top of that, coming before Erika, this is going to massively pop. Obviously, Erika is going to have an incredible stage show at the end, but I don't think that Princ and Erika are targeting the same demographic with voting anyway. So I don't think that Erika is going to be stealing away his votes. Plus, it's really going to make the qualities of his song pop, because it's going to be such a gigantically stark contrast to Erika. So this is a near perfect running order for Serbia. Also keep in mind that one of only 2 male artists in the second half, the other one being Adonis, who's doing something totally different. This could be the stroke of luck. That is the difference between Serbia qualifying and not qualifying. I still think it's going to be close. Potentially the 8th, 9th, or 10th qualification spot, as Serbia has been doing in recent years anyway. I think the Serbian delegation need to take advantage of this luck, have some really fantastic staging that's super distinctive from everybody else, and take advantage of the situation that they've been given. So is this going to qualify? We need to acknowledge Serbia's incredible qualification record. So since semifinals began, they've only non-qualified 3 times. In those semifinals, they came 10th, 11th, and 11th. So twice they were only 1 place away. The time they came 10th, they missed out because of the golden jury rule. So they've never been outside the top 11 of a semi-final ever. Could this be the first year? It's not impossible. Kind of difficult to tell because there's been such a kickback against Princ because he was not a popular winner at all. So it's a little bit hard to discern how much of this is genuinely that people hate the song. I think some people really don't like the song. That is real. But is it that common? and how much of it is just the fact that people are disappointed because their favorite didn't win. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's no denying that this is one of Serbia's weakest songs since Novodeka in 2019 or maybe Tiana in 2017. Tiana was the last time they didn't qualify, but they opened the semi-finals. She was the opening song, whereas this is going to be much later. Basically, what I'm saying is I find it hard to write Serbia off. That record does not just come from nowhere. That's a delegation. That's knowing what to do, how to convert something into something that qualifies. That's having neighbors who will regularly vote for you. That's having a diaspora that's active and invested in the contest. It's having good artists. It's having decent songs. It's having decent staging. It's a lot of factors all grouped in together that they have never been outside the top 11 of a semi-final ever. It's a very, very strong record. They're on a 6 qualification streak. So they've qualified every single year since 2018. But there's a big but attached to that. They came 9th, 7th, 8th, 3rd, 10th, and 10th. So 5 of the 6 qualifications have been in the last 4 qualifiers, like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 10th. So apart from Constructa, they're just kind of scraping through a lot of the time. So very consistently between 7th and 11th, basically. Is that pattern going to break this year? Maybe. Let's have a look at who his competition is. And if we look at semi-final number 2, if we look at the male ballads, technically we have JJ for Austria, but I think that's just it's a ballad with a beat, and there's techno opera. I just don't think it falls into pure ballad. And then also Adonis as well has a dance break, has a lot of beat at the end. That's not a pure ballad either. So in terms of pure ballads, his competition is Nina Zizic in the first half, and Israel in the second half, and then George, I suppose, kind of has a ballad as well. That song is a little bit messy. What makes him stand out is that he's the only male ballad. He's the only Fabio who's on stage singing a really old school, stripped back Balkan ballad. Pretty much has an niche to himself. I think Nina Zizic is stepping on his toes a little bit because she's also got that Balkan feel, but then obviously lady versus a guy. In the second half of this semi-final, there's only 2 men, him and Adonis. Other than that, it's all female artists. So he is going to stand out. So whereas I think that this is normally not a qualifiable song, I don't think it's going to be top 10 of a semi-final. Serbia have a huge amount of luck this year. They're in the second half, one of the only men in the second half. There's nobody else who's really doing a Balkan battle like this other than Montenegro. And if Montenegro are second or third in the running order, it's so long ago that people will have forgotten anyway. So a lot of people are saying this is like a definite non-qualifier. I'm not going that far. Serbia's 6 qualification streak, never been outside the top 11. Princ is a strong performer. They could elevate this with staging. It stands out, it's unique. It does have plus points that counteract the fact that the song is fundamentally quite weak. So I feel kind of 50-50 with this. I think it'll come down to the staging. That staging in the music video, I don't think will work. I don't think it's special enough. It doesn't have enough interesting storyline. It's just a little bit kind of basic bitch dancing with the stars staging. I don't think the staging in the national final worked either because the moon bit was cool, but then the curtain made no sense and there was just a lot of nothing happening. It just needs to be more exciting. It needs to be more colorful. It needs to be more vibrant. It needs to be more cultural and interesting so that fans outside of this old school music can also get involved. You don't want your demographic to be too, I said earlier, maybe they should focus on one demographic, but really that is a risky strategy. The more people you're appealing to, the broader your appeal, the better your chances are for qualifying. But at the same time, if you told me that this is the first song that broke Serbia's top 11 streak in semifinals, I would also believe you. But I still think it would be kind of like 12th or 13th. I don't think this is coming last. If this makes it through to the final, how will it do? I think this will do pretty well with the jury. Very strong vocals, very emotive, committed performance, mid-table possibly. With the televote, I think it'll just be the former Yugoslav countries giving points. And then I think this will get pretty much ignored by everyone else. I think Clemen's got a stronger ballad. It doesn't have a Balkan identity, but his performance feels more entertaining and people can understand the song. So they can emote with it and connect a lot better. And then Lucio Corsi for me is just a significantly more sincere and authentic feeling ballad. So I feel like Lucio kind of washes him out in the final. But yeah, I think theoretically if this did make the final, it could probably come 20th, 21st. If I compare this last year to Ramonda, which had way more public support, I felt like much broader appeal, much more beautiful song, and that ended up coming 17th. I can see him doing better than Teodor. That would seem weird, unless he just totally lucks out that he's the only ballad in the final, or he's just got a total niche to himself, or he gets a really lucky draw. If he's between 2 or 3 crazy songs. Okay, let's have a look at the Eurovision odds, and this has been living at the bottom. Yeah, it's still in 34th place. This has been 36th, 35th, 34th. Is basically living at the bottom. Zero chance of this winning. I think Serbia salvaging a qualification and keeping their streak is a best case scenario. Reset, look at what went wrong, try to fix PZ for next year. Okay, and let's have a look finally at how this is doing in the Eurovision community. I'm pretty sure this is second last because I updated the rankings for my Eurovision scoreboard series yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it was 36th. Yeah, it's still in 36th place, and honestly, the revamp didn't move this up a lot. It didn't have a bit of an effect in the same way that Montenegro's revamp moved them from pretty much bottom of the table up to 32nd. Spain's revamp was really successful as well. You know, I think they were around 19th and they moved it to 14th. Now, obviously, you can vote for your own country. This isn't perfect. But if you had the choice between moving up the Eurovision scoreboard and not moving up, you take the former. Okay, that's what I thought about Princ singing Mila. What did you think? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and buying me coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful Patreons for patronizing me from all around the world. On my Patreon, you get the original audio and visuals when I get copyrighted. You get some early releases. You can be in the credits. You can support the channel. Go check it out if you're a fan, but thank you so much just for being here. I've seen another Eurovision analysis video very, very soon. Goodbye.